This is SeaWorld San Antonio. This wildlife theme park located just outside of San Antonio is home to some roller coasters and of course its renowned shows, aquariums, and animal exhibits. How's it going, everyone? It's David here, and join me on my first ever visit here to SeaWorld San Antonio. So let's go in and try to have some fun. Good morning, SeaWorld. And might I just say, I really like this front entrance here, all with the stained glass. Very cool, very impressive looking. Okay, made my first ride of the day on the all-new for 2025 Beach Rescue Racer. And I'll tell you what, that is a very fun, peppy family coaster. And even going around some of the helices, it pulled some good G's for sure. I went to this ride first. One, it's new, and two, when I was waiting to get into the park, it was predominantly families with kids. And this ride is right at the front of the park. I was able to get on the first ride of the day, and now it has a huge line stretching beyond the queue. So I think that was a good call on my part. However, what's not so good, I would say, are the operations. So the park opened here at 10:30, went straight to this ride, and there was no one to be seen. 10 minutes later, crew finally shows up, and then they start doing their testing. Had to wait outside the entrance for 30 minutes. I'm sorry, that's something that should have been done before the park opened. You advertise that the park is open here at 10:30, and you should have all rides and attractions ready and available. And if not, at least have a sign or clear communication. The employees that were there had no idea where they were. There were people just swarming the front of the line. There was chaos everywhere. There wasn't any order. So not a good first impression on SeaWorld, at least on the operations standpoint. Journey to Atlantis is a massive water coaster. Unfortunately, it is closed for annual maintenance, but I did know about this before my visit. Oh my. Whoa. 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 Okay, just had a ride on Tidal Surge, and I believe this is, at the moment, the world's tallest scream and swing. I love scream and swings. They're some of my favorite flat rides everywhere, swing shot at Kennywood included. But oh wow, Tidal Surge, that was a great flat ride. Not only is it really tall, but man, the acceleration on that was much more powerful than the smaller ones that I have done. And you are really high up there. It has a decently long ride cycle. Each swing gets progressively bigger and bigger. And I sat on the side that you are looking down on the lake in the middle of the park. That's a great ride. I'm gonna see if I have to get back on that later today. Well, this is disappointing. Walked by Texas Stingray, said closed for technical difficulties. At least that had a train on the track. I'm looking here at Great White. It also says it's closed for technical difficulties, but I don't even see a train on the track. I do hope that this does, and Texas Stingray, open up later. Just got off of Wave Breaker, the rescue coaster. And this is one of those Intamin family straddle coasters, and I think this is a really good coaster model for sure. Not too much in the way of forces per se, but I really did like how this was themed to riding on a jet ski, and almost the entire ride is over water. Really fun. What was not fun was that line. It didn't look like that long of a wait, but with really slow operations and only one train running on the track, that was a 1 hour affair. And also the distribution between standby and quick queue were just, they're not even, or not fair, if I should say. That line just absolutely crawled. And the line is probably like 6 times longer now. And God, that queue line is full right now. I can only imagine how long of a line that will be. And it looks like there won't be a second train in operation because when riding it, the second train was dismantled in pieces. And yeah, it's just not good on that part. Also, just here walking around, half the rides are closed. Most of the food stands are closed. I don't know. I'm not making a real good impression here, SeaWorld. Okay, just had a ride on Texas Stingray. Now, I know I've been ripping on the operations a whole lot, but at least on Texas Stingray, they were running with 2 trains, and the line was moving definitely faster. Only waited about 15-20 minutes for that. And so far, that is definitely the best ride of the day. This GCI wooden coaster starts off with a couple of big drops, but then the rest of the ride is low to the ground. Airtime hills and sudden transitions, twists and turns. It was really, really good. And I will say, it was running a little bit on the rugged side, enough to throw you around, but I would not call this ride rough. It definitely has a little bit of a bite to it, which I really liked, actually. A lot of great floater airtime. It was a decently long ride. Comparing it to other GCI coasters I've been on, I would still have the likes of Mystic Timbers and Thunderhead higher, but Texas Stingray, it's definitely in the upper tier of that. It's really good. One ride I definitely wanted to do here at SeaWorld was Catapult Falls, the world's only launched log flume. It's also home to the steepest drop on a log flume. I am a big fan of log flumes, and this was definitely up my alley. And I'll tell you what, I had a lot of fun on it for sure. It starts off with a nice scenic cruise, and then you launch, and it's a peppy little launch. It's not extremely fast, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And then you go into a splashdown, and then you have an elevator lift, and then you go down, as I said, the steepest drop on a log flume, and it was quite steep. And then you go over a little hump. You don't get airtime on it, but you do coast over a hill, almost like a roller coaster, and then you go into a second splashdown. I definitely got a little wet. I've gotten more wet on other water rides, but I've come off drier on other ones. I got some splotches here and there. It really wasn't the end of the world, but I really like this ride. It's quirky, it's different, and it was a lot of fun. Well, the morning didn't have the best start, but this afternoon is shaping up to be pretty good. I didn't mention earlier, but Catapult Falls, that was a walk-on, and I came back around here to Texas Stingray. That was also a walk-on. I had 3 more rides on that, and in the front row, I thought it was really, really good. But this time, I went in the back seat, and now we're talking world-class wooden coaster. That was so good. Again, it has a little bite to it. It throws you around a lot, but that's how I like my wooden coasters. The pacing, all that is fantastic. Really good airtime, almost every single hill. The transitions are snappy. I love how it uses the terrain. Texas Stingray. This was definitely worth the visit here just for this ride alone.
Families showing off their size, speed, power, and problem-solving abilities. That was beautiful!
Okay, just got done seeing the Shamu show, and I feel like that's obligatory whenever you do come here to a SeaWorld. And I just forgot how big and massive those creatures are. One thing I will give props, I've now been to all the SeaWorld parks, and I think out of all of them, that was my favorite venue for a Shamu show. It was completely indoors. There was seating on both sides, so everybody had a good view. And yeah, it was a good production. One thing about this SeaWorld is that the Aquatica water park is literally right next to the dry park. It is a separate ticket, and this time of year it is closed for the season. It is a bit chilly today. I'm inside of Coaster Coffee Company, and these are like two of my favorite things, coasters and coffee. They have a model of Great White. Oh, look at that, it's operating. That's cool. I wish the real Great White was operating today. But anyways, they have some chains and wheels from other coasters in the park. There's also a model here of Tidal Surge. Pretty cool. When you come to SeaWorld, make sure to check out Discovery Point. It's technically outside of the gate, and if you want to come in here, you have to get your hand stamp. So yeah, technically, if you want to come see the dolphins or go in the aquarium and see some sharks, you really don't need an admission to the park.
Adult whales like Martha, Christy, and Duarte who are well into their 30s.
So it is typical to come to SeaWorld and see a dolphin show. However, here in San Antonio, a very different kind of dolphin show, mainly because very different kind of dolphins. Instead of the typical bottlenose dolphins, these are Pacific white-sided dolphins. They're smaller, but they're a whole lot faster. And this park is only one of 2 places in America that you can see these animals. Also, what makes this unique is that they have beluga whales. I've seen beluga whale exhibits before, but never did I see them incorporated into a show. Now, this show was definitely more educational with a couple show-stopping moments, but the orca show I saw earlier had more of that. It was definitely more of a bigger production. But this was still definitely a nice show and some really cool animals. So I'm currently here waiting in line at Steel Eel and came across this lovely family. What's your names?
Brittany,
Brittany and
Bree.
all right. And what do you guys like to do for fun?
Come to theme parks.
Oh, nice. Do you have a favorite theme park?
Six Flags.
Ooh,
What's your favorite? Six Flags. Yeah.
Six Flags.
Yeah.
All right. And how are you enjoying your day at SeaWorld today?
It's a lot of fun.
Do you have a favorite thing you've done so far?
Probably after this, probably gonna do this.
Okay. All right. Well, good running into you and making the line feel shorter.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Whoa! Oh! Your time. Whoa! 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 Wow! Okay, just had a ride on Steel Eel. This was the last coaster that is open that I needed to get on here. And that was about a 45-minute wait with a breakdown in the middle of that. Again, the operations here really aren't the best. We're talking like close to like 5, 6, 7 minute long dispatches, and this is only running one train, so the line definitely crawled. But I will say, the ride itself was very, very good. This is a Morgan mini hyper, not quite 200 feet tall, but I'll tell you what, it's quite powerful. I was sitting in the back car, and going down a lot of the drops, you had really good sustained moments of floater airtime. But what really caught me by surprise were the valleys. Wow, you went from floating out of your seat to crushing positive G's and just basically do that back and forth all the way around. It was a really good ride. It was nice and smooth. I love the view that you got on there. If you look off to the left, you could see downtown San Antonio. Off to the right, you could see all of SeaWorld. Steel Eel, good ride. I wish I could ride it again, but the line is long and I'm gonna have to wrap up my day pretty soon. As a kid, I grew up going to SeaWorld, Ohio, and they had a penguin exhibit. And coming here into this penguin encounter here in San Antonio, man, just like a flush of nostalgia is flowing in because it feels almost identical. I have to look at pictures, but with the moving walkway, the dark hallway, you had the observation deck above. Also, penguins, always adorable, and these ones were really active. They were really swimming and jumping around. And that's going to do it here from SeaWorld San Antonio. Overall, I still had fun today. It turned out to be a lot better as the day went on. The animal shows and exhibits were very nice. Went on some pretty good rides. There really wasn't a dud in my opinion. Both Texas Stingray and Steel Eel were definitely highlights. And I also loved the Catapult Falls and the Tidal Surge Scream and Swing. Those were great as well. Unfortunately, there were just some hiccups, mainly in operations. Like, operations on the rides were very, very slow. I had to wait in some pretty big lines today in a park that I felt really wasn't that crowded. I mean, maybe it's off season, maybe they need help, or they're doing some annual maintenance or whatnot. I'm not entirely sure, but I hope it's not like this all the time. But I did meet some nice team members when I went to guest services, asking for directions. I had a good meal during lunch. That was actually quite good. I had some brisket. And the park has a good atmosphere. It has a good vibe. It's presented very nicely. But it sometimes is just those little things that can make or break a park, in my opinion. I have now been to every United park here in the U.S., including Sesame Place near Philadelphia, although I was very little during then. But of the 5 main parks in the U.S., I would say I would put this at the bottom. And I'm not saying that's bad, because there are still, as I mentioned, some really good elements of this park. So I would probably have this at the bottom, then SeaWorld San Diego, then SeaWorld Orlando, and then I would have the 2 Busch Gardens parks, Busch Gardens Tampa, and then I still have Busch Gardens Williamsburg at the top. But overall, I did enjoy, and I think if I am down here in the San Antonio area again, I will probably make another visit here, especially if they have some good capital investment, which they have some good recent additions I see, and I hope this park is in the up and up. And overall, I would say most of the audience here today were family members. So if you have little kids or you and the whole family like aquatic life and going on some rides in between, I still think SeaWorld San Antonio is a good place to visit. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe for more amusement park content. And with that being said, thank you all for riding, and I'll see you next time.